Alright, welcome to Unit 4.5, Interior and Exterior Angles of Polygons. Interior is the inside, exterior is the outside. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is remind ourselves of polygons. A polygon is a closed figure. Yes, you should be writing this in your notebook. A polygon is a closed figure formed by three or more line segments called sides. This means the smallest polygon is a triangle, because a triangle has three sides and it's a closed figure. It's important to remember that the smallest polygon is a triangle. We're going to use that. Alright, so we're going to start by looking at the sum of the interior angle measures. So we're going to find ways to find the sum of the inside angle measures, the inside of the polygon. The sum of the measures of the interior angles in any polygon can be determined by the number of triangles. Remember I said it was important to remember that triangle that can be drawn within the polygon. Alright, and when we're talking about drawing the triangles in the polygon, quadrilateral, four sides, also called a rectangle. It's not perfect, don't judge me. Right? When we're talking about the number of triangles that can be drawn within a polygon, we're talking about corner to corner, but not intersecting. Right? But not intersecting. Corner to corner, but not intersecting. So, from corner to corner, we can draw one line. If we try to draw the other line, it will intersect. So, for quadrilaterals, or rectangles, there are only two triangles that can be drawn. Two. We'll learn more as why that's important and how that works. Right? So, if you wrote that down like you were supposed to, pause the video and come up and get the first handout. It has triangles through hexagons. Work it with us. Alright, welcome back to the video. We have the handout. Should look like this. Now let's see if we can fill in this chart and use it to find the pattern of how this works. Right? A triangle has three sides. There's only one triangle in a triangle. If you go corner to corner, you can't make any more triangles. Right? There's only one triangle in a triangle. And the sum of interior angles, if you add up the inside, the interior angles of a triangle, it has to equal 180 degrees. Always 180 degrees. Alright, now we have a quadrilateral, or rectangle, that has four sides. That's what quad means. You can make two triangles on the inside. Two triangles means it's going to be 360 degrees. Right? Because it's 2 times 180, two triangles. A triangle is 180 degrees. Two triangles, 180 degrees. 2 times 180 is 360 degrees. So if you add up all four angles on the inside, it should equal 360 degrees. If not, you did something wrong. Pentagon is 5 sides. You can make 1, 2, 3 triangles without intersecting. Corner to corner, no intersections. You can make 3 triangles. If you have 3 triangles, and each triangle is 180 degrees, 3 times 180 is 540 degrees. And we have hexagon, which even if they didn't have a picture and you didn't know what a hexagon looked like, you should be able to figure out. They're in order. 3 sides, 4 sides, 5 sides, 6 sides. There's a pattern. Find the pattern. 3, 4, 5. This should be 6. And if we keep up with the pattern, we had 3 sides, 1 triangle. 4 sides, 2 triangles. 5 sides, 3 triangles. 6 sides, the pattern is 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. But also the pattern is to get from here to here, we subtracted 2. To get from here to here, we subtracted 2. So if you know the number of sides, you just subtract 2 to find out how many triangles you can make. Right? So if you don't have the information, the given information, you figure out the pattern. Right? 6 minus 2 is 4, and it matches pattern. If it has 4 triangles, 4 times 180 is 720. Make sure you put the little degree symbol. Otherwise, how do I know you're talking about degrees and not cars or pickles or inches? Yeah? Be clear. Be precise. Alright? Once you understand the pattern, come up and get the second handout, which continues this chart. It starts right where this one left off. So if hexagon was before, mine starts at heptagon, which is the next one. Use the pattern to fill in the chart. And then come back and watch the video and see if you got it right. Right, so the pattern is heptagon should be 7 sides. 7 minus 2 is 5, 5 triangles. 5 times 180, what is that, 900? Something like that, 900 degrees. So the pattern should continue. The 4 on your paper should be 7, 8, 9, 10. On triangles, it should be 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? And whatever the number of triangles is, you should multiply it by 180, and that should give you your sum of interior angles. If you did it wrong, figure out what you did wrong, do it again. Alright? So, based on this pattern, right, number of sides minus 2 gives us triangles. Number of triangles times 180 gives us the sum of the interior angles. Based on this pattern, we can create a formula. Oh, I skipped a step. All right, so, nope, I told you to do that. I just didn't put it up there. All right, so now that we have the pattern, we can build the formula. Interior angle sum formula. If n represents the number of sides, n equals number of sides, then the sum of the interior angle, as can be found using the formula, S is the sum of interior angle, right? I'm just making a note so I don't forget what the variables stand for, right? So to find the sum, our pattern says we take the number of sides and we subtract 2. And we want to do that first, so I'm putting it in parentheses. If you take the number of sides and subtract 2, that will give us our triangles, right? The number of triangles we can draw. And then we multiply that by 180. That's our formula. It's built off of our pattern. Once you figure out the pattern, you can make the formula. This means we can apply it to any size polygon. All you have to do is put the number of sides and solve. Right? So let's prove it. A 15-agon is a 15-sided polygon. Right? So what they did is took 15-sided polygon, took out sided and poly, 15-gon. It's a 15-sided polygon. Right? So when you see this, you can say 15-gon, or you could say 15-sided polygon. Alright, so we know the number of sides is 15. It told us this. So we're going to put it into the formula. Sum is equal to the number of sides minus 2 times 180. So the sum of the interior angles is equal to 13 times 180. So the sum of the interior angles is equal to 2340 degrees. Make sure you have the degree symbol, or I don't know you're talking about degrees. And if you type it into the calculator and it doesn't look right, type it in again, because you might have typed it in wrong the first time, okay? You can always double check. Type it in 3 times if you have to. If you don't get the same answer all 3 times, then one of them is wrong. All right, again, this one is a 21-sided polygon. So the sum of the interior angles is 21 minus 2 times 180. The sum is 19 times 180. So the sum is 19 times 180. I typed that wrong. That's why you type it twice. Ooh, I was wrong twice. 19 times 180. 3420. 3,420 degrees. Box or circle your final answer so I know it's your final answer. Alright, when you feel comfortable, come get numbers 3 and 4. Work them. Check with your neighbor to see if they're right. If they're right, move on. If they're not, figure out what you did wrong. Don't just copy. Figure out what you did wrong. Otherwise, you won't be able to pass the mastery check or the test. Right? Side note, when dealing with this formula, they gave us the number of sides. They gave us the n. What if they didn't? What if they gave us the sum instead? Right? You need to be able to manipulate this equation. Right? What if instead they gave you, they said the sum of the interior angles equals 2340. And then they said how many sides? Could you go the other direction? Could you go the other direction? Basically, you would be doing this equation backwards. Right? Let's put in the information we have and see if we can figure out how to rearrange it. Let's do it backwards. Right? So, the sum, 2340, because we have it this time, is equal to the number minus 2 times 180. I just put in the information they gave me. They gave me the sum this time. So I need to isolate the n to find out the number of sides. Remember, to cancel, you do the opposite. Right? So this is times 180. Divide by 180 on both sides. What is 2340 minus 180? 900. So now we have 900 equals n minus 2. Is that right? 2340 divided by 180. No, this time I got 13. See, 900 didn't make sense to me, so I double checked. Double check, double check, double check. 13 equals n minus 2. This is a negative 2, a minus 2. The opposite would be to add 2 to both sides if I wanted to cancel it. Add 2 to both sides. I'm literally going backwards. The last thing I did was multiply 180. The first thing I did was divide 180. The next thing I did was subtract 2. The next thing I'm going to do is add 2. I'm going backwards, which means I'm doing the opposite. Right? So 13 plus 2, number of sides equals 15. So whether they give you the number of sides and ask for the sum, or if they give you the sum and ask for the number of sides, you can go both ways. You just have to rethink how you do the equation. You're going backwards. You're going backwards. Right? So how would I write that as an equation if I wanted to write that? Right? So if they give you the sum, you're going to divide by 180. and you're going to add 2. And that's going to give you the number of sides. I literally just rearranged the same equation based on what they give me and what they're asking for. I just went backwards.